ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ 'ਚ ਮੈਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਦੇਖੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਅਹੁਦੇ ਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਿਆ ਹੈ।
ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ। ਨਵੀਂ ਵੀਡੀਓਜ਼ ਦੀ ਨੋਟੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਬੈਲ ਆਈਕਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਲਿੱਕ ਕਰਨਾ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਲਣਾ।
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ, ਮੈਂ ਸਪਾਲ ਜਾਲੀ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਦ ਲੇਟ ਸ਼ੋ। ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਯੂਕੇ ਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਕੋਨੇ 'ਚ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ, ਬੜਾ ਨਿੱਘਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ। ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਉਮੀਦ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਐਕਸਾਈਟਿਡ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਕਰਨ, ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਗੈਸਟ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣਾ, ਵਿਚ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਵੈਰੀ ਹਾਰਡ ਵਰਕ। ਬੜੇ ਦੂਰੋਂ ਲੱਭ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਕਰੋ, ਆਪਣੀ ਫੀਡਬੈਕ ਦਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ, ਔਰ ਦਿਨ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਬੜਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਅੱਜ ਮੇਰੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਕਰਨ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਨੂੰ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ। ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਈ ਬੜੇ ਅੱਛੇ ਅਕਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ। ਰਾਜ ਗਰੋਵਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਗੈਲੈਕਸੀ ਅਸਟੇਟ ਏਜੰਟ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਾਊਥਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਉਹਦੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਸੀਰੀਅਸਲੀ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਨੇ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਅੱਜ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਬੜਾ ਦੁੱਖ ਹੋਇਆ ਐਂਡ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੁਆ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਔਰ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਜਾਣ ਹੋਵੇ ਪਛਾਣ ਹੋਵੇ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਬੜਾ ਕ੍ਰਿਟੀਕਲ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ 'ਚ, ਸਾਡਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲਈ ਦੁਆ ਮੰਗੀਏ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਤਾਕਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਕਿਹਦੀ ਦੁਆ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ। ਸਾਡਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਬੇਸ਼ੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਰਾਜ ਗਰੋਵਰ ਦੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਧਰਮਰਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਗਰੋਵਰ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਤੰਦਰੁਸਤੀ ਦੇਵੇ ਔਰ ਛੇਤੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਣ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਭਾਜੀ ਗਰੋਵਰ, ਸਾਡੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਨਾ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਐਕਸਾਈਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਓਨੈਸਟਲੀ ਮੈਂ ਬਾਰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਬੜੇ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਫॉर ਮੀ ਟੂ ਫਾਈਂਡ ਦ ਗੈਸਟ, ਇੰਟੈਲੈਕਚੁਅਲ ਗੈਸਟ। ਸਭ ਗੈਸਟ ਅੱਛੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕਲੈਵਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਇੰਟੈਲੈਕਚੁਅਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਇੱਕ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਅੱਜ ਕੋਈ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ 'ਚ ਮੈਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਦੇਖੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਅਹੁਦੇ ਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਿਆ, ਆਈ ਫੀਲ ਐਕਸਟ੍ਰੀਮਲੀ ਹੈਪੀ। ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰ ਤਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਆਈ ਫੀਲ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਅੱਛਾ ਅਹੁਦੇ ਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਦੇ ਨੇ। ਆਈ ਸੋ ਆਨਰਡ ਐਂਡ ਪ੍ਰਾਊਡ। ਉਹਦੀ ਅਚੀਵਮੈਂਟ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ। ਅਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਸਟਾਈਲ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰਨਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਫੋਟੋ ਦਿਖਾਉਣਾ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਲਰਾਜ ਸਿੰਘ ਚੋਡਾ। ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਲੀਡ ਇੰਜੀਨੀਅਰ ਐਂਡ ਇਨਵੈਂਟਰ ਐਟ ਦ ਆਸਟਨ ਮਾਰਟਿਨ, ਵਨ ਆਫ ਦੀ ਆਈਕਨ ਕਾਰਸ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਬਹੁਤ ਆਊਟ ਆਫ ਰੀਚ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਫॉर ਮੈਜੋਰਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਪੀਪਲ। ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਆਲਸੋ ਅ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਆਫ ਦ ਆਸਟਨ ਮਾਰਟਿਨ ਡਾਇਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਐਂਡ ਇਨਕਲੂਜਨ ਕਮੇਟੀ। ਬੜਾ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਬੜੇ ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਤਪੱਸਿਆ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੋਣੇ ਨੇ। ਅਤੇ ਚਲੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਕੇ, ਇਹ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਡਰੀਮ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। 99.9 ਬੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਡਰੀਮ ਪੂਰੀ ਕਰਦੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਵਾਈ ਔਨ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੋਅ। ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਭਾਜੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਪਹਿਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ, ਬੜੀ ਦੂਰੋਂ ਆਏ ਨੇ, ਵਾਕਿਆ ਦੂਰੋਂ। ਮੇਰੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਬੜੀ ਦੂਰੋਂ ਨੇ ਐਂਡ ਮੈਂ ਐਪਰੀਸ਼ੀਏਟ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਘਰ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਸਪਾਇਰ ਕਰਨਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਕਰੇਜ ਕਰਨਾ। ਐਂਡ ਆਮ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਹੀ ਫੀਲਸ ਦਾ ਸੇਮ ਵੇ। ਆਈ ਹੋਪ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅੱਜ ਟਾਕ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਸਮ ਪੈਨੀ ਡ੍ਰੌਪਸ ਇਨ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਸਾਲ ਬਾਅਦ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ। ਕਵੇ ਮੈਂ ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ 'ਤੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਬਲਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਚੇਂਜ ਮਾਈ ਲਾਈਫ।
Hopefully, there are some viewers who watch this and feel inspired at the end of the process.
Absolutely.
And if that
That
happens,
is the idea.
Yeah.
That is the idea.
And if they can reach out to us to say, look, I saw the program, I followed my passion, living the dream. Tell us, reach out to the program.
ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਲਾਈਫ, ਉਹ you talk about, I remember you told me about an 8-year-old girl and you met her here, she's working for you now. ਉਹਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ because this is, ਦੇਖੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਨਾ ਖੂਬੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਬਣ ਗਈ ਨਾ, how satisfaction that is, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਪਲੇਜਰ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਉਹਦਾ।
The role started because ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ 4.5 ਦਿਨ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। So Friday lunch time ਸਾਡਾ ਕੰਮ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ ਆ, ਅਤੇ it's just quite conventional in the automotive industry, finish at Friday lunch time। ਅਤੇ ਹੁਣ 21 ਸਾਲ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਜਿਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਮੈਂ ਕੰਮ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੋਲੰਟਰੀ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਆ, ਗੋਰੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਵੋਲੰਟਰੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੇਵਾ। ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਖਾਓ, teach young children about future careers. So the role itself is called STEM ambassador. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, maths. So basically you're providing links between schools and industry.
ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨਾ, ਮੇਰਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਮੈਂ ਬੜਾ ਸਟੈਪ ਬਾਈ ਸਟੈਪ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਹਰ ਸ਼ੋਅ 'ਚ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਰਗੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਹੂ ਹੈਵ ਅਚੀਵਡ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਇਨ ਲਾਈਫ ਐਂਡ ਯੂ ਰੀਅਲੀ ਅਚੀਵਡ ਵੈਰੀ ਵੈਲ। ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਪਿਕ ਕਰਦਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਯੂ ਵਰਕ 4.5 days। ਆਮ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ 6 ਦਿਨ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਂਡਸ ਮੀਟ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਨਾ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਯੂ ਡਨ ਸੋ ਵੈਲ ਇਨ ਯੂਰ ਲਾਈਫ, ਯੂ ਵਰਕ 4.5 days। ਦੈਟ ਸ਼ੋਜ਼ ਕਿ ਬੱਚੇ ਹਾਰਡ ਵਰਕ ਕਰੋ, ਉਹਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਫਰੂਟ ਆ ਲੱਗੇਗਾ, ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਲੱਗੇਗਾ, ਬਟ ਇਨ ਅ ਲੇਟਰ ਏਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। It doesn't come easy. It's not that overnight to ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏਗੀ success. You got to work for it. ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਨਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਜਨਮ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ? Let's start from there.
Yeah, born at Hillingdon.
Hillingdon ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ.
Hillingdon, Lugga, yeah. So I grew up here in Southall. So a local boy. I've got 3 elder brothers. I'm the youngest of 4 brothers and a younger sister.
Are they all here?
They're all here.
Achha.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, mum and dad came to England in, I think, early 60s. So 2 of my older brothers were born in India. My second brother, myself, and my sister was born in Hillingdon. So we grew up here in Southall. We used to go primary school here, secondary school here. And my dad was always working. You know, we hardly ever saw dad. He was always working.
This is what I just said, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah.
6 दिन 7 दिन काम करना
Exactly. You know, full days, 5 days a week. Every Saturday काम करना. You know, we hardly saw him. But my Babaji, he was always home. You know, he was semi-retired. ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਘਰੋਂ ਸਕੂਲੋਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਕੋਣਾ ਤੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ would say, ਅੱਛਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਿੱਖੋ। ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਣਾ, ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਆ ਨਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ। ਅਸੀਂ ਥੱਕੇ ਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਫੁੱਟਬਾਲ ਖੇਡਣਾ। ਤੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੜਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਨਾ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ। ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਠੀਕ ਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਉੜਾ ਸਿੱਖਣਾ ਘੰਟੇ ਲਈ, ਕਦੇ 1.5 ਘੰਟੇ ਲਈ। ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਰਿਵੋਰਡ ਸੀਗਾ ਨਾ ਹਰ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਫਰਾਈਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਨੂੰ 5 ਪੈਂਡੀਆਂ ਮਿਲਦੀਆਂ, 5 pence each pocket money। ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਸੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਰਿਵੋਰਡ, ਸਾਡੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਟੈਲੀਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਦੇਖਣ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਸਰ। 7-8 ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ, ਇੱਕ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਸਰ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਟੈਲੀ ਸੀ, 3 ਚੈਨਲਸ। ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਕਈ ਹਜ਼ਾਰ ਚੈਨਲਸ ਆ, ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਟੈਲੀਫੋਨ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਟੈਲੀਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ।
ਕੱਲੇ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਟੈਲੀਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਲੱਗਿਆ, ਬੱਚੇ ਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਾਰੇ।
ਸਾਡਾ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਸੀ। ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਨਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਫੇਵਰਟ ਸੀਗਾ in the 70s, The Persuaders। ਸਿਰਫ ਕਰਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਡੀ ਸੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਮੇਰੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਐਡਮਿਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਸੀਗੀ ਇਸ ਗੱਡੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਐਸਟਨ ਮਾਰਟਿਨ DBS, ਜਿਹੜਾ late Sir Roger Moore।
But this is when you were 7-year-old.
This is when I was 6 years old.
6 years. But ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਬਲਰਾਜ ਹੈ, that's very what's the right way? ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤਾ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ 6 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਕੀ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ, ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਵਿਦ ਆਸਟਨ ਮਾਰਟਿਨ ਨੂੰ। ਹੁਣ ਬੜੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕੀ ਕਾਰ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸ ਰੇਂਜ ਚੋਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ। People wouldn't even know that.
If I'm honest, I don't think I really recognised that car as an Aston Martin. I just admired the shape and the colour. I just loved it. It's like a goldish colour sports car. And so I watched that programme because of that car. So ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਨਾ, up to the age of 6, I don't remember ever receiving a birthday present because all I had was hand-me-downs. So ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਭਰਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਸੈਕੰਡ ਬ੍ਰਦਰ ਨੂੰ, ਫਿਰ ਥਰਡ ਬ੍ਰਦਰ ਨੂੰ। ਮੈਂ ਚੌਥਾ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਬ੍ਰੋਕਨ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਰਸ ਜਾਂ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਪੈਂਟ ਜਾਂ ਟੀ-ਸ਼ਰਟ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਮਿਲਣੀ। ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਫਿਰ
That's very much my story. That
yeah,
is nothing.
so you know, and it's the classic thing of if you don't know different, you don't know any different. You know, that's all you know.
ਅੱਛਾ, do you mind if I ask you, what did your dad ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਦੋਂ?
So dad ਸੀਗੇ carpenter.
ਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਹੁਣ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਜੀਨੀਅਰ ਵਿਦ one of the top ranking cars, you know, ਆਈਕਨ ਕਾਰਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਈਵਨ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਵੀ ਬੰਦਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਚੱਲ ਯਾਰ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਰੀਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, ਬੰਦਾ doesn't go that way ਨਾ। ਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ 6 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ, how do you know ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਜੀਨੀਅਰ ਬਣਾ ਤੇ ਕਾਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ? ਕਈ ਬੱਚੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਕਾਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਖੇਲ ਕੇ they become something different.
I think it's a combination of one showing interest in something. My interest is always making things or taking things apart. And I always look at something, whether it's a mug or a telephone, and I ਦੇਖਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਬਣੀ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼।
ਪਰ ਯਾਰ ਸੌਰੀ, ਇੱਕ ਕੋਈ ਬੱਚਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ।
ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਹੈ, ਮੈਂ ਨਾਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਵਾਂਗਾ, ਉਹਨੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਜੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਖਿਡੌਣੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ, ਤੋੜ ਦਿੰਦਾ। ਹਾਂਜੀ। ਉਹ ਤੋੜਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ, he was an inventor.
Yeah.
He want to see how it works. ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਐਜੂਕੇਟਡ ਨਹੀਂ, ਦਾ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਸਮਝਦੇ, ਸਾਡੀ we take in the wrong sense ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ।
Yeah. And I think it's you got to have interest. My interest was cars and engineering because I had a very curious mind. And so my 7th birthday was the first time in my life I received a birthday present which was not a hand-me-down. So ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ 7 ਸਾਲ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ present ਮਿਲਿਆ, and I think my Babaji bought that Aston Martin Matchbox car from Southall Market. It wasn't even new, but I appreciated it so much, and ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਸੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸੋਨੇ ਦਾ ਪੀਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, and I looked after that car like it was gold dust. ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਣਾ ਨਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਰਾਣੇ ਦੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਗੱਡੀ ਨਾ ਲਕਾਉਣੀ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਲੈ ਨਾ ਚੱਕੇ no one's going to take it away from me, this is mine.
ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬੜੇ ਪਿਕ ਕਰਦਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਪ ਉਮੀਦ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹੋ ਪਿਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋਵੋਗੇ। ਦੇਖੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਲਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਡੈਡ ਦੀ ਬੜੀ ਥੋੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ, ਜਾਸਤੀ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ। ਜਦੋਂ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਬਿਜ਼ੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਟੱਬਰ ਪਾਲਣਾ, ਘਰ ਰੱਖਣਾ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕਰਨਾ, ਖਰਚਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੇਅਰ ਕਰਨਾ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਰੂਫ ਓਵਰ ਦਾ ਹੈਡ। ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਜੋ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਪੇਰੈਂਟ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨਾ, ਦੇ ਆਰ ਮੋਰ ਕਲੋਜ਼ ਟੂ ਦੇ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਚਿਲਡਰਨ ਐਂਡ ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਐਵਰੀ ਵਰਡ। ਇਹਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਉਮੀਦ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦੇ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੋਣ ਬੱਚੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਗ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਾ ਹੈਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪਾਸ ਉਹ ਟ੍ਰੇਜਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹੋ। ਵਾਟ ਇਜ਼ ਡਨ ਫॉर ਯੂ, ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸਲੈਸ that is.
It was so, I think as young people we did not realize how much knowledge and experience he had, and the sheer craft that he had with his hands. Now, as a blacksmith, by the way, and a carpenter, I still recall the day we had an old dining room table. And my dad wanted to chuck it away because we wanted to buy a new one. My Baba ji he always had a habit of not throwing anything away. So he cut the legs off and cut the pieces off at the bottom of the legs. And I recall watching him what he's going to do with these, the bottom of these legs. So they were made out of mahogany. And I still remember with his hands of steel, literally rotating this bottom of a leg of the table and using a chisel. And he carved the most perfect round piece, almost as if it's been turned on a lathe. And what he's done, being a blacksmith, he then forged a piece of steel and made it into a screwdriver. So that screwdriver handle and the blade that goes with it, it's a large, single slot screwdriver. I still use that at home today. So I've had it for something like over 50 years. So I still use that tool today.
I'm drifting here and there because my most important ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਹਿ ਕੇ ਹਟਿਆ ਕਿ ਵੀ ਆਰ ਟੋਟਲੀ ਕਨਫਿਊਜ਼। ਅਸੀਂ ਫੈਂਟਸੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੱਚਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਕੁਝ ਬਣਨਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਾਸ ਸਬਜੈਕਟ ਹੈਗੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ, ਪਰ ਉਹਦੀ ਡ੍ਰੀਮ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਫੁੱਲਫਿਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ। ਵੈਨ ਯੂ ਵਰ ਇਨ 6 ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੜਾ ਸੀਰੀਅਸਲੀ ਲੈ ਲਿਆ ਕਾਰਾਂ ਵੱਲ ਐਂਡ ਵਾਟ ਡਿਡ ਯੂ ਡੂ, ਵੈਨ ਡਿਡ ਯੂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਮੂਵਿੰਗ ਇਨਟੂ ਸਕੂਲ, ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਬਟ ਉੱਥੇ ਨੂੰ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਿਹਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ?
I think the key reminder was probably because I was very creative. And I always loved drawing. And ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਟਾਈਮ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਸਿਰ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਅੱਛਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਿੱਲੀ ਬਣਾ ਦੇ। So I'd find a piece of paper and draw a cat. It's ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਕੁੱਤਾ ਬਣਾ ਦੇ, so I'd draw that, or ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ drawing ਬਣਾ ਦੇ। So ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੀ drawing talent good ਸੀਗੀ। So if you've got a natural talent, exploit it. So anyone watching who's got young people in their family, nephews, nieces who have got a talent, push that talent, because if they're born with that natural ability, they can only be a good thing because they don't have to work at it. They are naturally talented.
ਸਕੂਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ honestly ਮੈਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ, put my hand up, ਕੋਈ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਰਮ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ। ਸਾਡੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਨਾ ਡਰਾਇੰਗ ਦਾ ਬੜਾ ਸਬਜੈਕਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ, ਮੈਂ ਬੜਾ ਗੁੱਡ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ। ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਡਰਾਇੰਗ ਕਿਉਂ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ, ਸਾਡੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਕੰਮ ਆਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਵਾਈ ਡੂ ਦੇ ਟੀਚਰ ਡਰਾਇੰਗ? ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੈਂਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਲਿਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ।
I used to think when I was very young drawing, I think ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਆਰਟਿਸਟ ਬਣਨਾ, but what is the job for an artist?
Exactly.
Is it really a job? Okay, when ਮੇਰੇ friend ਸੀਗਾ, he wanted to become he used to say he wanted to be a rocket scientist, but did he really know what a rocket scientist was? But so a lot of young people have this perception of wanting to be someone, but do they really know what that job is?
Exactly.
In today's culture, I think...
But did you know where you were heading to?
I had a good idea because I still have a drawing that I produced of that Matchbox car, which I produced on the back of a cornflakes packet. Now, the reason I drew it on the cornflakes packet is because we were a poor family. We couldn't find drawing paper. So I went through the rubbish bin, found a cornflakes packet, opened up the cardboard, and there was my drawing space. So all the years later, I got no idea what happened to the car, but I still have the drawing. It's the 3/4 view of that car, and above it there's a caption I wrote which says, when I grow up, I want to become an engineer and I want to work for a sports car company.
This was your basic...
and underlined in capital letters it says, this is my dream.
Really?
So drawing on the back of a cornflakes packet.
So ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫੋਲੋ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ ਆਪਣਾ, ਲਾਈਕ ਵੀ ਜਸਟ ਟੋਕ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਬੰਦਾ, ਪਰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਲੀਡ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਕਰੇਗਾ। But where did you see yourself going to?
I honestly didn't. I don't think there was any clear goal from me to get from primary school sports cars. There wasn't. I was simply going to school. I was just following, I think, if anything, my brother's lead, because they were older than me. I was in the class after them year after year. We were kind of following each other. And I remember, Dad we Baba Ji ne कहना, तुसी पढ़ो, तुसी try hard करो, तुसी सीखो, revise, pass your exams. I think overall I was okay at school. I wasn't top notch. I wasn't at the top of the grade. I'd say above average. My art grades were very good. My maths grades were very good, but other subjects, I think I was a little bit distracted. I don't know why. I can't
But
remember.
the knowledge, again, what subject you need to be what you are today?
So that comes after, as you get older, you become more, I have an idea of where you want to end up in your career. So more secondary school now. I had an idea that I want to go towards the engineering sector. My eldest brother used to work for an engineering company. So that straight away, you hook yourself into someone that you associate with. So with my eldest brother working in engineering, I thought, yeah, well, that sounds like an interesting job. My dad would always say, doctor bano, dentist bano, lawyer bano.
This is what I mean.
Again, it's quite stereotypical. Parents want the best for us, but it's not necessarily where young people want to go with their careers. And the worst situation can be that you end up in that type of career, but you end up kind of hating your job. You may do it because it pays well, but the life doesn't evolve around earning good money. If you always say you spend a third of your life working, be in a job that you enjoy like a hobby. A hobby job is like the best job in the world. So that's why I pushed myself into doing something that I wanted to do. So the drawing, the creativity, the engineering, the car kind of stuck in my head.
जो तुसी है तुसी की कर दो ना, it really impacts onto the people. बड़ा पैंदा impact होता. Like मेरे जो guest आने मैं कई दफा ना मैंने feel होता कि I need to tell people before the show. आज मैं थोड़ा बहुत message भेजा, few hundred people, and everybody said, wow, people were looking forward to see who this person is. Honestly, देखो पता क्या होता है, सारे चलना बड़े तरह के लोग हैं गिने. There's some people who would just admire you and they inspire you. And अपने बच्चों को गाला कर लेंगे, देख उधर देख. It's inspiration कि तुसी इन्हों देखे बच्चों को push कर दे हो. Inspire हो गए ना. Some people are full of jealousy as well. ऐसे लता खिंचन जो बड़े अच्छे हैं. People talk like की हो गया, सो हो गया. यार बड़ी बड़ी achievement है. सारा line नहीं है, सारे बड़े कितने बच्चे आए ने, which is what you, how many people are there? How many Sikhs are on that position?
Yeah, there's very few. I'm probably the longest serving so I've been where I am for 23 years. But I've been in automotive for over 45 years. So I served an engineering apprenticeship from the age of 16. So I could have gone to O levels, I could have to A levels and gone down the university route. But I chose to go down the apprenticeship route because one, again, following my dad, my Pitaji and my Babaji, that followed the hard work ethic. So I thought, well, I'm done my studying. And what I gained with my apprenticeship was three things. One was work experience, very key. Two was earning a salary. And three was further education. So I didn't have to go to university to do that option because then I wasn't gaining work experience. So this option, again, following one of my brother's footsteps, apprenticeship, which is an engineering apprenticeship, really sort of forged in my head, this is something I really do enjoy, something I'm passionate about. But even at that stage, the vision to end up somewhere like a sports car company was far, far beyond reach. In my mind, I always knew where the goal was. But at the time, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to raise my hopes into getting that because often it leads to disappointment if you don't get your goal. So keep on working hard. So I've honestly got to say, I think I really only started really studying hard probably after I left school. So during my engineering apprenticeship days when I really rolled up my sleeves and thought, I've got to do this.
Well, what made you do that?
I think it helps where you have other people, your peers, the people who you hang around with can push you. If young people are hanging around with people who are like, layabouts, they don't want to do anything or just go out playing football all the time, not really take life seriously, you're going to end up, in that kind of group. And you're not really going to achieve. If you really want to push yourself, hang around with those guys who want to push themselves well. So together, you always kind of challenge each other. That's no different to the work that we today, as a brand at Aston Martin, where we don't just produce cars. We have competitors. We have other car companies we compete with. So that link kind of ties in all the way through the process. So you start off very young. Be connected with people who you associate with, who you can inspire and push each other. And we still do that today to develop the cars that we do.
But ਜਦੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ, you were heading very strongly, made up your mind. कोई obstacle थोड़े वे आया? Sometimes you thought, what I'm doing here, man, Was there a U-turn or was there another option?
There's always roadblocks. There's always obstacles, and after a while, I think you grow to expect that. If there are none, then you're probably following the wrong path. So I always say, expect those roadblocks, expect barriers, expect the naysayers. Naysayers are the people who say you can't achieve things in life. Famous bodybuilder Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's very famous for saying, embrace the naysayers. You know, when he was young and he was told he can't be a bodybuilder, he became Mr. Universe. And then when they said you couldn't be a movie star, they said he couldn't do it because he couldn't speak properly. He became a box office hit. And then after doing all his bodybuilding and all his movie stars, then he became, went to California.
But did you have
governor.
that experience, some people putting you up saying, "Tu nahi kar sakda, wo nahi ho sakda"?
I think I did, yeah.
Really?
I think it was perhaps some members of family. It was also teachers, probably. I think I've still got a school report from one of the teachers who'd say he'd never make it into he's creative, but he would never go into an engineering role.
मैंने एक गल पॉइंट करनी सारे व्यूअर्स ਨੂੰ मैं क्योंकि मेरा काम ਹੁੰਦਾ थोड़ा पकड़ के ना निचोड़ कर लेना चेक तरह. You said you're not very good in the school. ठीक से but you didn't feel you were that good.
No.
Drawback से ना थोड़ा जा.
Yeah.
Then negativity भी through होगी which आनी शुरू होगी. Yeah. There was no positivity for you to be very strong thinking मैंने बड़ी positive है किया मैं कल लगता I'm above average.
Yeah.
You're more determined to reach to your goal.
You are. I think I had a bit of an advantage, and I've got to probably thank my brothers for that, because I kind of watched where they're going with their careers, and I decided either I'm going to do what they're doing if they succeeded. If they didn't, well, I thought I'm not going to do that. So I had a bit of a leading path as a bit of a look in to say, shall I follow that path or shall I do something different? And I think by the time I was about 18, 19, I knew where I was going with my career, and it was very focused towards sports cars.
That was at a very young age.
It's still a very young age, you know, compared to most people. But bear in mind, by now I was studying my engineering degree. I was still working. I'd gained good, valuable work experience. Being creative, my employer also asked me to study a graphic design degree. So I was out now studying graphic design as well as engineering, because that exploited the talent that I already had. If you have a natural talent with drawing and creativity, push yourself to both. And believe it or not, today to do my job, I use both graphics and engineering, which allows me to innovate and invent. So I can actually use my knowledge and my thinking by putting a lot of drawings together, a lot of freehand drawings still today, a lot of computer renderings, and that gives us a good vision. You know, they say a picture tells 1,000 words. So I still do that today to, you know, use my skills from the past to do my job today.
You see, बड़े मैं हमेशा गल करदा जेरे मेरे शो होंदे तुसी देखे मेरे गेस्ट होंदे ने, they have done their life properly. Sport नहीं है, sport in the sense कोई qualified नहीं सी कर दे विच, कोई mentor नहीं सीगा, negativity बड़ा होंदा सी कि तू की करदा पे नहीं बनेगा, और सारा putting things aside, he still made it. So basically मेरा आइडिया होंदा तुसी देखो lively एक example तो लेके मैं सामने बिठाया, सारे दिमाग च होनी चाहिए, if he can do it, I can do it. थोड़े पास brain है, उधर पास brain है, no much help, no much guardians, average in the school. And look at the position he's holding today with one of the icon cars in the world, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਹਾਲੇ ਵੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ. Let's face it like this. I think Prince Charles owns one of these, doesn't he?
ਹਾਂਜੀ. It's you know,
King Charles, beg your pardon.
King Charles, yeah. He was 21 when the Queen bought him his Aston Martin DB6 model for his birthday. He still has that model today. In fact, the William and Kate drove it on their wedding day. You know, so they were driving around to show the media, look, I've got my dad's car. But we still service that car today.
Really?
And today, that car actually doesn't even run on fuel. So we've converted that engine to run on biofuel, which is made out of the surplus of wine. So that car is still running, looks absolutely stunning. So we keep it in an amazing condition for the King.
You know, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਅਕਸਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਦੇਖੋ, ਪਤਾ ਕੀ ਬੜਾ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਗੱਲ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਾਂਗਾ, ਪਹਿਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਹੈਗਾ, ਦਸਤਾਰ ਰੱਖੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ, you're not bringing your family a good name, you're not bringing your ਖਾਨਦਾਨ ਨੂੰ good name, ਤੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੁਸਾਇਟੀ ਦਾ, ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ, you representing the whole community. It's very fortunate. ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਤ ਦਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਨਾ, they only present themselves, but ਜਦੋਂ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਖੜਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਨਾ, you have a big responsibility because you have made a way For the other Sardars who will walk in that door.
100% agree. After my apprenticeship, when I established myself as an engineer, I worked for an agency, and the agency would send us to different countries. So I spent 5 years working in and out of Sweden. I spent a lot of time in Germany working for BMW, Mercedes, Audi. Spent time in Holland, Austria, Czech Republic, so many countries, mainly in Europe. I went as far as India as well, working for Tata very briefly. And so for me, I love traveling. I think I get that sense of adventure from my dad. So in '69, we made a road trip from London all the way to Amritsar by road.
Really?
To reach Harmandir Sahib to celebrate the 500th anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji at the Golden Temple.
Amazing.
So that was a 20-vehicle convoy that took us about 20 days. My only regret is I don't remember more of that trip.
I think, but interesting, would you believe going through the half time?
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Didn't realise.
Break लवांगे प्लीज साडी गलबात जारी रखेगी कीप वाचिंग बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग होंदा मैं हमेशा कहना प्लीज अपने बच्चों ਨੂੰ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਵਾਚ ਕਰੋ ਇਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਹੈਗਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਰ ਏਜ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਫੋਕਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣਾ ਆਰਮੀ ਦੇ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਫੌਜ ਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਹਰ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਜਾਰੀ ਰਹੇਗੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਸਟੇ ਟਿਊਨਡ ਇਨ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ
ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ ਨਵੀਂ ਵੀਡੀਓਜ਼ ਦੀ ਨੋਟੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਬੈਲ ਆਈਕਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਲਿੱਕ ਕਰਨਾ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਲਣਾ
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਬੈਕ ਇਨ ਦਾ ਸੈਕੰਡ ਪਾਰਟ ਮੈਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਉਮੀਦ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਟਰਸਟਿੰਗ ਸਾਰੇ ਇੰਟਰਸਟਿੰਗ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਆਪਣਾ ਦਸਤਾਰ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਬੰਦਾ ਕੁਝ ਅਚੀਵ ਕਰਦਾ ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਬੜੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਆਮ ਦਾ ਹੈਪੀਐਸਟ ਮੈਨ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਇੰਸਪਾਇਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਆਮ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਬੋਥ ਫੀਲਡਸ ਮੇਲ ਐਂਡ ਫੀਮੇਲ ਨਥਿੰਗ ਸਟਾਪਿੰਗ them.
Yeah, predominantly the sector we're in is very dominated by males. But one of the things that we're really pushing hard on is for young women to also consider careers in engineering, science, technology and engineering. In the last 10 or 15 years, it started to make a lot of difference. But even today, so when I started my voluntary work, there was something like about 7% female in our company. Now we have something like about 21%.
Really?
So it's going in the right direction, but yet there's a 50-50 gender split. So we always wonder why are young girls not thinking about going into this sector.
Besides being an engineer and inventor वगैरह ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਬੜਾ senior position hold ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ I believe ਤੁਸੀਂ about 400 schools and universities ਵੀ visit ਕੀਤੇ What made you do that? How come that came onto your lap?
So we moved to Northamptonshire and because of my work and I've only got the one daughter and she used to go to a Church of England school. I used to ਉਹਨੂੰ ਛੱਡਣ ਜਾਣਾ ਸਵੇਰ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਕ ਅਪ ਕਰਨਾ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਹੈਡਮਾਸਟਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ you're a Sikh aren't you? ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ that's right. ਕਹਿੰਦਾ would you've got 5 minutes I would like to show you something. ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਨਾ ਗੋਰੇ ਦਾ ਸਕੂਲ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਇੱਥੇ ਰਿਲੀਜੀਅਸ ਸਟੱਡੀਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਚੀਅਨਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਊਥ ਤੋਂ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਬਰਮਿੰਗਮ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੋਕ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਹੈਰਾਨ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਨਾ ਕਲਾਸਰੂਮ 'ਚ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਣੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਿਛਲਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਤੇ ਸਿੱਖਸ 5Ks ਸਾਰੇ ਗੋਰੇ ਦੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਦੇ ਲਰਨਿੰਗ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਰਿਲੀਜਨਸ ਸੋ ਇਨ ਦਿਸ ਕਲਾਸਰੂਮ ਵਾਸ ਡੈਡੀਕੇਟਡ ਟੂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਹੈਰਾਨ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ this is amazing ਕਹਿੰਦਾ we've been studying this for the last 6 months because all the kids are fascinated to see a real life Sikh ਕਹਿੰਦਾ would you like to come into the school to talk to them
Achha, this is how it started. I wonder how you got into this.
That's where it started. And at first I thought, no, I've not done a presentation before, but my wife and I, you know what, this is all about education. If you don't tell them, how will they learn?
How would they know?
So I thought, okay, presentation Malali, and I put some things together, some pictures, images, PowerPoint and I ran a competition as well. So, and the kids they were only primary school ages, but they were so interested, so intrigued. And then the competition winner was I'm going to sit down in the middle of the classroom on a chair and I'm going to tie the star on them. And really? A little girl won that competition and she had long hair and I tied a little gutti and then tied with the star on her and she was amazed. She said, oh, well, can I keep it? Okay, of course you can keep it. And all the other kids wanted one as well. So suddenly they were not only sharing about our culture and our beliefs, but also the fact that they were really excited about it. So because of how well that went, I did a few more like that and the word got out. I did a few more schools. One day I went to school with my work top on and the head said, do you work for these guys? I said, yeah, I do. He said, could you do the similar thing that you do for the Sikhi, but about Aston Martin. I said, I could ask, and I'm sure I
So
can.
from one step to the other one.
That's how it progressed. But the word got out, and I started going one to another, and before there was no kind of, I actually genuinely enjoyed it because it's sharing knowledge and inspiring people, because you realize that, you know, young people are really smiling because they met someone who's not in their immediate family or a teacher. It's someone from a professional industry coming to their school as a real life person to talk to them about providing links between schools and industry. So that became quite a sort of significant voluntary effort. And then a couple of organizations said to me, look, Bao, we're really interested in what you do, but you need to register as an ambassador. So they do various DBS checks to make sure you're not have a criminal record or anything. I'd done all that. And then I carried on. So 21 years later, I completed over 400 events. I think inspired about 95,000 young people.
95, really?
And 15 of them work at our company. So
Oh my
it's an amazing story. There was a girl about 4 years ago who joined my team, and so I completed the induction, and I said to her, right, do you have any questions for me? And could I have a selfie? It's an awkward question. Like, a selfie? Why do you want a selfie with me? She said, you may not remember me, but the reason I'm here is because of you. And I said, okay, how is that, Kindi? When I was 8 years old, you came to my primary school. And she said, I listened to every word you said in your career talk about, you know, embracing the naysayers, never giving up, have a goal and become, you know, a scientist, technologist, engineers, anyone can do it. And I remember you saying girls can do it as well as boys. She said, I hung on to your words and I went home and I told my parents. But it was a dad who became a naysayer. He said, you don't want to do an engineer job. You know, that's oily, greasy hands. You don't want to do that. And and the mum said, no, you can do anything you want to be. So she stayed focused and carried on working hard, where she became the only girl in her class studying engineering. She then kept on pushing herself. So that's one of the messages we say, never give up till you reach your goal. She kept on pushing herself. And by the time she was into sixth form, she was the only girl, but she really excelled and done really, really good grades. Then she decided, like I done, apply for an apprenticeship. And her mum said, why don't you apply for Aston Martin? Because that's where that guy was from. She applied, she got the job. And then I think on her first day, I must have walked past her and she must have looked at me, thinking, there he is. But didn't say anything to me. I think maybe she was too shy. I wouldn't have known who she was. But that introduction, she said, the reason I want a selfie is that so that I can tell my dad and my friends at school, all those who doubted me, here he is, and here am I. I've reached my goal. So we then had a
It's
chat.
very much like your story.
Exactly.
Huh?
It's a full cycle goes round.
Full circle.
So what we did was we got together, we went back to her school to inspire the next generation. So the cycle goes on.
मैं ना गल दा थोड़ा होर निचोड़ करदा देखो ਜਦੋਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਅਗਰੈਸਿਵ ਯੂ ਗੋਟ ਬੀ ਵੈਰੀ ਅਗਰੈਸਿਵ ਆਮ ਸੌਰੀ ਔਰ ਆਰਡੀਨਰੀ ਐਟੀਟਿਊਡ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣ ਸਕਦੇ you got to have a very aggressive attitude towards life the world you're going to fight you're going to be a fighter you're going to be a fighter you're going to fight all the way and ਉਹਦੇ ਬਗੈਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ you know ਦੂਸਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਇੱਕ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਅਚੀਵ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ like he is with Aston Martin now he could have decided to go with I'm sorry I'm not putting the other cars down any ordinary car ਕੋਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਛੋਟੀ Ford ਲੈ ਲਓ Audi ਲੈ ਲਓ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਲੈ ਲਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ you could have walked into that direction but for with your position and what you chose to go for this is like cherry on the cake.
It's I mean I admire any cars honestly. I love all cars.
No, that's what I said. I'm not putting the other cars down.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think but my admiration for Aston Martin one was it was my first birthday present, so that's kind of living the dream. But also I think through the work I've done over the years, through my voluntary work, through the innovations and inventions, you know, I've got a really good connection with the company, and it's a good sort of a partnership, if you like. And I think that's another key thing to understand for young people. What is the perfect job? I'd say, you know, obviously as well as being a hobby job, I'd say there's about 20 items on a checklist. You know, it's your travel to work, it's who you work for, the product, where you sit, the people that you work with. There's about 20 items on there. No one has the perfect job. Even though I enjoy what I do, it's still not perfect. No one can have the perfect job. But the more you can tick, the better. And if you're somewhere between...
But then you can make it perfect, yeah, because you like... Do jagah, kam te thoda kar, you spend your life.
Yes, yeah.
If those both places are not happy, you need to do something about it.
Exactly, and that's very important as well, that if you're not happy doing what you're doing, you know, we spend a third of your life working. Don't stay stuck in your job. do something about it. And that's simply, what is it that you want to do? Even if it means going back to the drawing board, starting again, doing some study. There's lots of adult education classes. Start again and reset, and then go towards what you do enjoy doing. A lot of people, if they don't do that, that leads to stress. Stress leads to health issues. What's the point? And so there's a lot of people today, not just in the UK, but globally, who are in jobs that they just don't enjoy doing. Well, the reason is, one of the things I do firmly believe is there's not enough professionals in industry going to reach out to schools in the community to inspire young people towards their future careers so they can make informed career choices. So we just need more people doing that on a voluntary basis.
ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇਖੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜੇ ਕਾਮਨ ਜੌਬ ਦੇ ਢੂੰਡਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਜਾਂ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨੌਲੇਜ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਰੋ ਜਾਂ ਉਹ ਕਰੋ. ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਮਾਈ ਆਈਡੀਆ. ਕੋਈ ਟੋਟਲੀ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਾਈਨ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ 'ਚ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਲੜਕੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਕੇ ਹਟਿਆ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਲਾਈਨ 'ਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਓ. ਨੋਬਡੀ ਵਿਲ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਥਿੰਕ ਨਾ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਤੂੰ ਆ ਕਿਉਂ ਕਰਨਾ, ਵਾਈ ਡੋਂਟ ਡੂ ਦੈਟ ਯੂਰ ਹੈਂਡਸ. ਪਰ ਹੱਥ ਗੰਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਾ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਹੱਥ ਸਾਫ਼ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ. You got to go through that procedure anyway.
100%. And I think a lot of people will say, oh, it's easy for you to say, sitting there talking about you've done some hard work, you got there. But everyone has difficulties in their life. And sometimes, I always say that to my daughter, no matter how difficult you find life sometimes, think about it that someone else has got it worse than you have. And one amazing example is we ran a drawing competition at the school where we allowed students to take part in a design competition. And the winner was not just a drawing on drawing with inks or a watercolor or whatever. It was actually using thick thread cord to produce 3 views of a car, and that was stuck to the paper with glue. And each thread color was the body color, and the wheels were black, and the interior was red. But the detail was unbelievable. And we decided this person was going to become the winner. Now, in terms of difficulties, what we didn't realize that the girl who produces this was blind.
Really?
She was competing in a school where students were able-visioned. She was the only blind girl in the school. The school never let her take part in the competition because she was blind. So she fought her way to become entrance in the competition, and she won it. So people who think they got difficulties, you imagine a girl who's born able-visioned, but she becomes blind because of a brain tumor. But she's fighting like a soldier. So just like our forefathers, in the wars, we were fighting through all our histories. They were in a war. In a way, we're kind of like in a war. But our battles, we should face forwards. Never run away from your battles. Her battle was, no one's going to let me not take part. I will take part, and I will produce this amazing drawing. And she became the winner. So she became an inspirational role model.
Because jo tusi lack karde ho, this is why I bring the shows like this. कई दफ़ा बड़ा ब्लाइंडली ऐसे फॉलो करते सी इन माई एज. कुछ नहीं से पता किधर जाना किधर नहीं जाना. इट्स लाइक ड्राइविंग ए कार विदाउट द सेट नैव. very much like that life हो ही ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ. It's so difficult. So ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਇੱਕ ਲਫ਼ਜ਼ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ, ਅਗਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਨੈਗੇਟਿਵਿਟੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ, ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦੇ ਟੱਬਰ ਦਾ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰ ਜਾਂ ਯਾਰ ਦੋਸਤ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਨਾ, I think you should be more determined ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਦਿਖਾਣਾ. Don't get discouraged, don't get disheartened ਕਿ ਉਹਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਤਾ ਤੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੇਰੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਡਿਸਾਈਡ ਕਰ ਲਈ. Who knows better, you or him?
Yeah, I think it's very easy to be distracted and become negative, but always think, I'm going to stay positive. No matter where you are in life, there will be a positive outcome, but it simply means if you don't understand or you're failing something, it's because you probably don't understand what the subject matter is about, but then learn it. And we also say, even the job we do today, embrace failure. Don't run away from it. Everyone becomes who they are in life by failing. No one reaches anywhere by not failing. So what we do is we look at a next product we produced, and although everyone's saying how amazing this product is, we analyze it and say, look, you know what? These are the good bits. These are the bad bits. Let's learn from that and make the next one better. So we do it today.
If you don't know your bad bits, you can't improve.
Exactly.
This is what, honestly, this is every time I say on my show. मैं कह ज़रूरी नहीं कि तुसी मन को बड़ा अच्छा है, बहुत nice है. No, मैं कह tell me, give me a feedback.
Yeah.
ताकि I can work on my weaknesses.
Yeah, lessons learned is a wonderful tool. If you don't learn your lessons right, then you're really not going to improve the next time. So there's lots of attributes, that I've used in my lifetime to help me to get where I am. One is I've always been compassionate. I've helped others. You know, it's just a habit. If someone's in need, I'll go out my way to help them. Whether it's neighbours doing the voluntary work, or helping my team, they need support. Always been compassionate. Second one is always stand up and do the right thing. You know, there's lots of distractions. We could do the wrong thing. No, stand up for the truth and do the right thing. Always stay focused on that. Third one is nothing is achieved. No success is achieved without hard work.
Of course.
Work hard. Put that effort in. That's really, really important. And then, like you just said, you've got to have that strength, that mental strength and determination to push yourself. So never lose sight of your goal. So my goal as a 7-year-old was this, where I am today. But I never lost sight of it. As I said, my path wasn't straightforward. I went around the houses. I eventually got there. So the strength and determination has to be there.
It's not a straight line.
No, it's not a straight line. It's nothing in life is. If it is, then you've had it really easy. And you might as well do the lottery and win the jackpot. And the last one is having mastery and leadership. Having the skills to master your trade and then learn how to lead. Lead by example. You know, you don't order people. You know, you lead by example by showing them something you're doing. You're leading by example and let others follow. So if you become a good leader, is someone that others follow. So by having that, you get a better team. A better team delivers a better result. So those are 5 examples of things I've used over the years, which by complete coincidence, I realized a couple of years ago that they are translated, going back to Sikhi, go back to Guru Gobind Singh Ji when he named the Panj Pyare, the Daya, compassion, Dharam, standing for righteousness, Himmat, effort, Mokam, strength and determination, and lastly Sahib, which is showing mastery and leadership.
It's a religious chaga. We got all that in there years ago.
Exactly. So this was always ingrained into us, you know. But it goes to show between young people and following achieving successful careers, there's history in Sikhi, right? That is already forged in our genes. You know, let's just stick to those principles, and young people can also follow successful careers and live their dreams.
Before I ask you to give some advice to the people, anything closing to this statement देनी चाहते हो? You know, अगर जे मैं एक चीज़ अपने वालों का माना कि don't let people tell you कि तुसी की कर सकते हो. Don't let them rule your life. You are in charge of your life. Today life again, you will decide. Nobody knows better कि तुसी की कर सकते कि नहीं कर सकते. दूसरी गाल कई दफ़ा अपने आप ਨੂੰ नहीं पता ਹੁੰਦਾ कि थोड़े कितनी ability until you don't have a go. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਨਾ, then you surprise yourself, oh my God, I didn't think I could do that, but I've done it. We underestimate ourselves as well.
We do. I think in young males particularly, I'm sure I went through that phase where I thought I knew best. It's just a part of growing up. But the most important thing is, if I could turn my life around and start again, I wish I'd listened to my Babaji more than I did. I did listen to him, but not enough. So those people who are fortunate to have grandparents, listen to them, because they've got 70, 80, 90 years of wisdom that
you remember I said that right at the beginning, if you have grandparents, you're a very fortunate person.
You're very, very fortunate.
Very fortunate. Very fortunate.
And also I think in terms of the voluntary work, as I say, we call it seva. Many people have asked, Bal, how come you've done this work for so long? Why are you still doing it? You could be playing golf on a Friday afternoon, or you could be doing this or doing that. Why do you still do it? And I once remember saying, you know what, as a Sikh, it's an honor for me to serve. And he said, well, people do voluntary work when they're doing community service, when they committed a crime. I said, but in our culture, it's an honor to be in a place to serve. Right?
It's God's blessing, only then you can do it. You can't do it otherwise.
Exactly. So
we're running out of time very much. Please. Just like you changed that girl's life. She was only 8-year-old. You met in the school. Because my life quite changed. Program देखे life change away, and I got a call after a few years. अगर आपने जिंदगी लंबी दी थी, maybe we still alive or we still around, to say कि I saw the program on Akaal Channel and that changed my life. And please मनो believe करो, ए program देखे किसी बच्चे दी life change हो सकती है, 100% हो सकती है. जे मैं बड़ा boldly कहा, मनु ते कुछ मिलन वाला नहीं है, और मैं selfish नहीं कि मैं कुछ लब दो दे बिचो. मैनू द बिगेस्ट मैनू प्लेजर मिलेगा किसी की दुआ मिलेगी ना तो मैं मेरे जैकपॉट मिल गया उसके कि somebody some child लड़की हो या लड़का हो they married just because they saw an inspiring guest on my show.
Yes, 100%.
What would you like to say? Look at the camera. Let a few words from you.
I think just stay focused. On what you want to do. Whatever is your hobby, stay focused on it. But I always suggest Don't focus on just one goal. Have 3 goals. Have a plan A, have a plan B, and have a plan C. Because if you fail to reach plan A, you got something to fall back on. And on the rare chance you don't forget your plan B, you still got a plan C to fall back on. In other words, you're going to do something that you want, enjoy doing. And don't think that the road is going to be clear. It never is. Be prepared to work hard, roll up your sleeves, stay focused, do your research. You know, if you got family, friends in these type of roles, reach out to them. You'll be surprised how many people would be honored to help you. You got to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. And lastly, I think it's just because you end up in a successful role, never give up learning. As humans, you know, by nature, as the younger we are, you know, our brains are like sponges. We soak all that information, but keep on learning, you know, because I always say keep on learning till you are not able to. So just last year, I'm not a builder, I'm a DIYer, but I decided to build my own shed. So I went on YouTube, learned how to build. So I built my own shed project. I've got immense satisfaction out of it. But I'm learning all the time.
Yeah, but that should be very easy. Sorry to interrupt. I got to see Austin Martin, the inventor. You know, to build a shed is not a big job, is it?
Well, yeah, a car to a shed is very, very different. But I think it still requires a lot of getting so many details right.
Of course.
If anything, I over-engineered it. Obviously, I'm an engineer. But my point is, you know, embrace education. Don't think that once you leave full-time education, that's it. You're free to do a job. You can be anything you want to be, even if you're in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, doesn't matter. Embrace, you know, every day it comes, you know, be grateful for what you got, because in COVID taught us a strange lesson that we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So while you've got your health and you've got your, you know, mind is clear, you know, do something with your life, because you never know when that's going to be taken away from you. So no, make the most of it, work hard, and when you've reach your goal and do exactly what I'm doing, inspire others.
Fantastic. From your talk, there's some person I'd like to mention, Harmeet Singh. He's a multimillionaire in Dubai. He went bankrupt in India, his family business. He came to Dubai with a cabin bag, no money at all. Either he would take a bus from his work to accommodation, or he have a dinner. He's loaded, he's got 300 people working for him. And उन्हें अपनी कंपनी का नाम रखा है प्लान बी.
There you go.
No, सुनो मैं बड़ा inquisitive हो गया. मैं क्या I've never heard somebody calling his company plan B. कहता because मेरा पहला fail हो गया सी तो मैं B तैयार रखा सी.
There you go.
You know what you said, I've gone through, I've seen that happen. And that guy is a multi-millionaire in Dubai now.
So this is the parallels, you know, we're talking about. He's in a very different role to I am, but he know plan B worked. But he also never gave up, because when he went down, he could have easily given up. Life could have been bad for him. But he picked himself up and tried again. So as you say, we say never give up till you reach your goal.
Yeah, he was the first one to go to work and the last one to leave when he was working for somebody.
There you go. Yeah, I know the feeling. that's me at work as well.
You said that to me as well.
Yeah.
And he's got 300 people working, got branches in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and other places in UAE. And it's incredible because, don't be full of negativity. Do not to see discouragement. Take that as a challenge.
100%. I think life is too short not to, you know, as you say, you know, just make the most of it. But once you reach your goal, I often say, you know, make another goal. You know, never go forward without a goal. Always do something and be ambitious. If you want, whatever you want to do, anyone can learn anything. You know, you can be a rocket scientist, you can be an engineer, you can be an inventor. You know, I wasn't born to be an inventor. I just pushed myself from an engineering level to an innovation level. Innovation is change for the better. And beyond that, I decided about 20 years ago, I want to invent something. You know, someone said, you can't be an inventor. I said, why not? You know, what's going to stop me?
Well, exactly.
So I tried it, and it took a lot of research, a lot of understanding, a lot of trial and testing. But just like a famous quote from Michael Jordan, the famous basketballer, he said, I hit the basketball 1,000 times, 1,000. I kept on missing. Well, the one time I needed to hit it, I got the basket. I never gave up till I reached my goal.
Exactly.
It's exactly with our goals. Never give up till you reach your goal, because it's so easy to give up. In which case, why did you start in the first place?
दूसरी गल है close the show here. Brain कम करता बड़ी stronger चीज़ थोड़ी body the stronger चीज़ है brain. There are the people जरा थोड़े brain the operation कर देने. So they are genius.
Exactly.
थोड़ा brain जरा तुसी अपने बड़ा genius सोचते हो. They can work on your brain and mend it the way they want to do it.
Yeah, 100%. Even one of my inventions, the global experts in this field said what I was trying to do can't be possible. They're the global experts and said what I'm trying to do can't be done. So I proved them wrong. So who's the expert, me or them?
Exactly.
We just use our knowledge and experience and simply push yourself. And yeah, there are dark days when you're not achieving the result. I just never gave up till I got there. Once I got there, it's that eureka moment. It's that amazing moment when you score like a football with a volley, or you hit a golf hole in one. There's the special moments of life when you reach an invention level. There's no words to describe it. It's amazing, and it pushes you to do more, and then you push your team to do more, and then together as a team we always deliver. That was one important message, by the way. Teamwork. It's not about one person. We deliver as a team.
कितने भी बड़े हो जो कितने भी तुसी पहुंच जाओ ना, always keep your feet on the ground. कदी ठोकर नहीं खाओगे लाइफ दे विच. Here's an example. Top-notch job है, you know, so much qualified and working with Icon car ਦੇ ਨਾਲ as an inventor and ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ. Community ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਰੋਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ and still grounded. And this is the quality one should have. The bigger you grow, थोड़ी सी ह्यूमैनिटी ज़्यादा आ जानी चाहिए, हम्बलनेस ज़्यादा आ जानी चाहिए, बिकॉज थोड़ी नॉलेज हम शेयर करो लोगों को.
जी बिल्कुल.
You know, because you're going to leave the legacy with some other people, maybe not in the family. The community is the family as well.
Yeah, 100%. This is why teamwork ethic is so important. It's not about one person. As a team, you know, whether we're on the F1 circuit achieving success or whether we're doing our sports car division, we all work together as a team, and no one is above the other. You know, I can have a chat with my CEO one day and talk to the person who's cleaning the shop floor. You know, we all are all equal. You know, your humanity, whether they're male or female, treat with everyone 100% equality.
Balraj, thank you so much. Really appreciate Kaza.
You're welcome.
Honestly, Karna badi duru aine. In fact, he comes from such a distance. He spent the last night in London so that he can be in a show this morning. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to come in. And I hope you're not driving back tonight, are you?
No, I'm too tired to do that. I've got to be at work for 6:30 in the morning, so I'll be up for about 4 o'clock this morning.
Really?
Tomorrow morning. It's fine. When your job is your passion, it's not hard work.
Chalo, thank you very much. I think, in fact, I'm sorry, bari program late dekha. Message aa rahe, beautiful program, very encouraging, very inspiring. Thank you. मैं थोड़े नाम नहीं ला पाऊंगा because one of the big second and then उम्मीद रखता हूं थोड़ी शो अच्छा लगेगा. Please अपनी feedback तय करो, अच्छी बुरी का फिक्र ना करो. I can take it. अगर मैंने तुझे कहूँगे भाई ऐड नहीं ऐनी अच्छा तो मैं उधर वर्क करांगा. Nobody जिद्दा तुझे nobody's perfect.
No.
We got to learn.
Absolutely.
सीख दा मतलब भी सीखना सारी लाइफ दे
बिल्कुल
विच.
जी.
There's never enough. Thank you very much. Thank you थोड़े आंदा. I wish you next journey. फिर मुलाकात करेंगे. आप वाहिगुरू फतेह बुलाइए. वाहिगुरू का खालसा, वाहिगुरू की फतेह.